Have you ever done a scripture study with the Jehovah's Witnesses before? I've done several with them. Whenever they knock on my door, I sincerely welcome them in with open arms and say whatever excuse to study the Bible is a good excuse in my home. And as we study the Bible together, I really do my best to implement a seek first to understand kind of attitude and zip it when it comes to my own beliefs. Really just trying to listen and learn about what they believe in. But we can't ever seem to get very far, because after a while, they start asking me about my beliefs. And then the entire conversation shifts over into what I believe in rather than what they believe in, even though I am intently trying to learn about what they believe in. Because of that, I have never once been able to get to the end of their scripture study book with them. This is really odd too, because I don't know if you've ever read their manual before, but as you read it, it really tries to get you to nod along with what it says. It will tell you something, and then it will ask you a question about what it just said, trying to get you to say the affirmative, even if you don't agree with it. Here's an example. I'll read paragraph 13 here. Jehovah had no reason to sustain disobedient Adam and Eve forever. They died, just as he said they would. Adam and Eve ceased to exist. They did not pass on to the spirit realm. We know this because of what Jehovah said to Adam after confronting him with his disobedience. God said, "You will return to the ground, for out of it you were taken. For dust you are, and to dust you will return." Genesis 3:19. God had made Adam from the dust of the ground. Genesis 2:7. Before that, Adam did not exist. Therefore, when Jehovah said that Adam would return to the dust, he meant that Adam would return to a state of non-existence. Adam would be as lifeless as the dust from which he was made. That is what they have to say about it. And then we get to the bottom here where we have our check for understanding questions. And they ask, what did Jehovah say would happen to Adam at death? And what does this mean? Here they want you to nod along and repeat back what they had just said. But I see it as them asking me what I believe concerning the passage. And that is where the conversation totally shifts from what they believe into what I believe. For I greatly disagree with them on the matter. I believe in a place called Sheol, also known as the abode of the departed spirits. And I do not believe Adam's spirit was exempt from going there at death. I could talk a lot about that, but that isn't what I want to talk about right now. If anyone would like to talk about that, I have a link to my religious discussion board in this video's description and in the comments section. What I want to talk about is this whole questioning style where you read the passage and then they ask you a question where they expect you to repeat back what you just read. I'll add, most of the questions are not disagreeable. They actually start off in the book with really agreeable questions to get you nodding along, building trust. And then it isn't until later in the book that they start slipping in the more disagreeable questions and hope you will continue to nod along with them. This whole questioning style of repeat back to me what I just said has always felt weird to me. It feels like they're trying to hypnotize me or something. Just say it is so enough times and eventually you will believe it is so. Or something like that. Does that feel fishy to you? It recently occurred to me that our public education system is continually guilty of doing the exact same thing. You read a passage and then at the end of the passage they do a comprehension check, where they ask you questions and expect you to follow along with them. Here is an example. As Earth revolves around the sun, the axis of rotation maintains its tilt. The axis always points in the same direction, which is toward the North Star, Polaris. The combination of the Earth's revolution around the sun and the Earth's 23.5 degree angle tilt are the reasons we have seasons. And then we have question and answer at the end of the chapter. What causes the seasons? Where the student is expected to repeat back what the book just said. The major difference between the public education system and Bible study with the Jehovah's Witnesses being, in public education, if you don't repeat back what you are told, they will dock your grade, wherein there is pressure to conform with them. When I disagree with the Jehovah's Witnesses, nothing happens to me. They just eventually stopped coming. But it does lead into some great conversations, I'll tell you that. The problem with the mainstream public education system is that they put so much effort into getting as much information as they can into your head as fast as they can, trying to get you to repeat back their answers. But they don't spend enough time allowing you to question whether or not those answers are right or wrong. This is so because we said so. And you better agree with us, or lie and act like you do, or we will give you a bad grade. You're not going to pass your class, and you're going to get held back and be treated like you're stupid. That smells like some really rotten fish to me. That leads me to believe that the public education system, in the United States anyway, is less about education and more about indoctrination. That is a problem that needs fixing. Don't be afraid to stand against it. This message is brought to you by the Flat Earth Institute of Science. Thank you for watching.